Hello and welcome to the news at 10 on Nta News 24. We are live in Abuja. I am Salwa Khalil Ibrahim. The headlines. President Bola Tinubu and President Xi Jinping of China agree on increased trading partnership between both countries. Minister of State for Defense assures Nigerians of government commitment to end banditry in Nigeria.
The president is worried about what is happening in the Northwest.
Federal government set to synchronize vaccination with neighboring countries to enhance disease prevention. NTA's energy correspondent shares experience with conversion from petrol to CNG-powered vehicle.
Presidential initiative on compressed natural gas interface with motorists who converted their vehicles. Now, as a reporter, I've become part of the story.
Details of the news now. Nigeria is set to become the leading trading partner of the People's Republic of China in Africa as both countries are stepping up their relations. This is part of the outcomes as President Bola Tinubu met with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping in Beijing. State House correspondent Musbaud Nawahab reports.
Intentions meet again in warm handshake. President Bola Tinubu, on his first state visit to China, meets a leader of one of the leading partners of Nigeria. The reception was indeed suggestive of the stature and status of Nigeria in the Committee of Nations. The leader of the giant of Africa is here. In mutual expressions, Nigeria and China are set to take their relations beyond just strategic to comprehensive strategic partnership. The new modalities were brought to the table. China, as appreciated by President Tinubu, has demonstrated how infrastructures can drive economic growth. The Nigerian leader says the same aspiration is at the core of his administration's agenda to ensure overall development and prosperity for his people.
I agree with you that China-Nigerian relations of a century should further strengthen our trade and economic development program. Nigeria has a very great potential as largest population in Africa and is the biggest economy.
To give life to the intention of building a new Nigeria through infrastructural renewal, President Tinubu says his government has laid the foundation with various reforms.
You have reformed the Chinese economy, and our program too is on that course. I am a reformer. We have recognized the need to reform our economic program, and we're doing so. The strategic partnership should result in our regional development goals. Peace, stability, security in West Africa is very, very crucial.
President Xi Jinping has apparently found a new partner for the improved relations he had longed for, as he declared readiness to take the partnership to higher levels. From Beijing, Musbao and Wahab, Nta News.
Meanwhile, Nigeria and the People's Republic of China have opened areas of collaboration to ensure a more balanced trade relations between both countries. State House correspondent Musbahu Wahab reports that President Bola Tinubu and President Xi Jinping witnessed the signing of another memorandum of understanding on new areas of partnership.
President Bola Tinubu and his Chinese counterparts demonstrated the burning desires to back their bilateral talks with an immediate action. The trade volume between Nigeria and China getting close to $23 billion already. The two countries are exploring new areas to shore up their relations. Top in this developmental direction is the Belt and Road Initiative Cooperation, Economic Development and Application of Navigation Satellite System and Peaceful Use of Nuclear Energy.
That would mean electricity. That would mean barges with nuclear energy that will be supplying the grid. And there will be so many of them. So it will help to stabilize electricity in Nigeria. And of course, the technology itself, nuclear technology or atomic, depending on how you look at it, whether it's fission, nuclear fission or nuclear fusion, is something that we need to learn, we need to harness, because it has so many applications. Apart from electricity, a lot of it is also used in medicine. Radiology and all of that.
Being signed are the MOU on human
Other
resource
MOUs were equally signed on human resource development and global development initiative, music exchange and cooperation, as well as cooperation on television.
A very important agreement for collaboration between NTA and the Chinese news network.
These are all projects that are very important to the infrastructure drive. And in addition, the Chinese side have indicated interest as part of the cooperation agreement to buy more from Nigeria, to import more from Nigeria, so that our trade can grow and be balanced. Right? Solid minerals, gas and methanol development, agricultural produce, as well as undertaking to support with training for our young ones, or scholarships and bilateral trainings that will help us progress development, as well as agreement to cooperate with each other in order to foster development in the world.
The new agreements bring Nigeria to a new level of partnership with China.
All of this takes us to the upgrade that we've been talking about, that President Xi Jinping asked for since last year. Upgrade of the relationship with Nigeria from a strategic one to a comprehensive strategic partnership. So they're really very serious about Nigeria. We are their second largest trading partner in Africa. We're only behind South Africa. Trade volume is about $23 billion. They want to do much more. So Nigeria is set to become the #1 trading partner with China.
President Tinubu left the Great Hall of Beijing with expression of fulfillment, while Nigerians can only hope for the practical gains of enhanced bilateral and trade relations. From Beijing, Musbao and Wahab, Nta News.
Now, Minister of State Defense Bello Muhammad Matawalli says the federal government is committed to ending banditry and insurgency in Nigeria. The minister gave the assurance at the 8th Division Nigerian Army Headquarters, Sokoto, at a time when the state is grappling with security challenges and expectations are high that his presence will bring about a new dawn in the fight against insecurity. Dalhatu Abdullahi has the report.
At the Sultan Abubakar III International Airport, Sokoto, the Minister of State Defense Bello Muhammad, in company of the Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Gwabe Musa, were received by the acting GOC 8th Division Nigerian Army Sokoto and senior military officers. Addressing the troops of the Northwest Task Force Operation Hadron Daji, the minister stated that he is at the 8th Division area of responsibility to appreciate their successes and boost their morale to do more to flush out bandits and kidnappers in their area of operation. The defense minister maintains that the strategic move, which is on the orders of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, underscores the unwavering commitment of the federal government toward restoring peace and security in the Northwest region.
Mr. President is worried about what is happening in the Northwest. So he called me and the Chief of Defense Staff while he was in China and give us a marching order that we shall leave all what we are doing and come to Sokoto to ensure that we supervise the operations of our troops that are going on within this division.
The minister and entourage took time to visit and interact with the gallant officers and soldiers injured in the frontline operation who are now receiving treatment at the 8th Division Hospital, where he prayed for their quick recovery and sympathizes with their families. The Minister of State Defense and Entourage also paid courtesy call on Governor Ahmed Aliyu at the Government House, Sokoto, where he intimated the governor reasons for his visit to the state. Governor Ahmed Aliyu hopes that the minister's presence will add value to the troops' effort in tackling banditry and kidnapping in the Northwest region. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, Nta News.
Still talking security, the Kano State Police Command has paraded a suspect accused of stealing 21.7 million naira from his employer, alongside 91 others arrested for various offenses, including armed robbery and kidnapping. Elizabeth E. Lalamido reports that a 20-year-old girl and a 65-year-old kidnapped victims were rescued.
20-year-old Yakubu Abubakar and Alinoti, 50, have been arraigned for the kidnapping of Hafsat Nuhu, a 20-year-old lady from Zarewa village in Rogo local government area of Kano, and demanded a ransom of 30 million naira from her parents.
I was beaten to a pulp. They kept shooting their guns in the air. Then they took my daughter and left.
Weeks later, Hafsat was located and rescued by the police in Magarfi local government area of Kaduna State, along with 65-year-old Badaru Adamu, who had also been kidnapped by the same gang. This case is just one out of many arrests and recoveries made by the Kano State Police Command within a span of 21 days, according to the command's public relations officer, Abdullahi Haruna Kiyawa.
The police command was able to recover the following items: 1 motor vehicle, 55 parcels of Indian hemp, ATM cards, 241,000 naira counterfeit currency.
The command also arrested a company employee who stole 21.7 million naira, and at the scene, a bag containing an unspecified amount of money was found burned. Haruna Kiyawa urged the public to continue their cooperation by promptly reporting any suspicious activity or movements of people or items to the nearest police station for immediate action. In Kano, Elizabeth Yila, Nta News.
Identified gunmen have attacked the divisional police station at New Road Oba in Idemili South local government area of Anambra State. At early hours of today, Franklin Onyekachi reported that the police building and Oba Civic Center were set ablaze by the attackers.
The police public relations officer, Anambra State, who spoke to NTA News on phone, disclosed that the attack took place in the early hours of Tuesday. He said that the gunmen threw petrol bombs at the security facility, which ignited the building. A civic center located near the police station was also set ablaze. A police corporal who was fatally wounded lost his life as a result of the attack. A statement signed by the PPRO said the Anambra State Commissioner of Police, Nta, while condemning the act, described the invasion of security facilities and hostility towards security agents as an attack on the soul of the nation and vowed to bring those behind the attack to book.
The residents who say they are living in fear and who refuse to speak on camera are calling on the federal and state government to come to their rescue. From Oba Civic Center, Franklin Onyekachi, NTA News.
Now, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired, has commended the officers and men of the Nigerian Armed Forces for their professionalism, patriotism, and daily sacrifices in their effort to curb banditry in the Northwest and other security challenges in parts of the country. Marwa made the commendation during a courtesy visit by the National Coordinator of the National Counter-Terrorism Center, Major General Adamu Laka, at the NDLEA's national headquarters in Abuja. The visit was to seek a collaboration between the NCTC and NDLEA. General Laka noted that there is a strong nexus between drugs and crimes. He also highlighted that with over 50,000 arrests in 3 years, the activities of NDLEA have disrupted crimes and struck a significant blow to the criminal organizations, as well as activities that drive on illicit drugs and substances. Brigadier General Buba Marwa, in his remarks, however, commended the gallantry of men and women of the armed forces and called for support, particularly following a viral video of bandits celebrating capture of a military armored vehicle stuck in a murky path in Kwashabawa, Zurmi local government area of Zamfara State. He urged Nigerians to stand with the military and other security agencies in the ongoing effort to end all security challenges facing the country. This is the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Let's take a break now. More reports when we return.
From the creeks of the Niger Delta to the breathtaking scenery of the plateau, in noonday and nighttime, we set out to bring to you captivating stories that evoke your emotions. For fascinating documentaries and reports on day-to-day issues with expert analysis, tune in to NTA News 24, DSTV Channel 419, GoTV Channel 26, StarTimes Channel 101 and 433, and Free TV Channel 703.
Thanks for being there. Now, as fuel prices soar in Nigeria due to the regulation of the downstream sector, many motorists are exploring alternatives such as converting their petrol cars to compressed natural gas, CNG. NTA's energy correspondent Lydia Sampson also undertook this conversion, motivated by the desire to experience the energy mix. Lydia now brings us up to speed on her CNG journey so far.
I've reported the presidential initiative on compressed natural gas interface with motorists who converted their vehicles. Now, as a reporter, I've become part of the story. Spending 45,000 naira or more on petrol every 2 weeks, despite limiting my movement, is no joke. But since converting my car to CNG, I only spent 14,000 naira in a month. I now understand the unbelievable cost-effective revolution of CNG. The process involves installing a CNG system, which includes a storage tank and modified fuel injectors. Despite initial fears about safety, many experts I had interviewed have found that CNG is a cleaner, safer option, emitting less carbon than petrol. Their assurances ignited my interest, and I must say I have found that the conversion not only reduced my fuel expenses but also contributed to a smaller carbon footprint. With the federal government's push for cleaner, cheaper energy, including free conversion services for commercial vehicles, many are already following suit.
Ultimately, the way to go is CNG, and that is why the government has for a long time been clamoring for people. In fact, most recently, there's even free combustion. The Presidential Committee on CNG, like for us, they have made us almost all our states in the country, 36 plus FCT. They've given us about 100 kits free. So it will translate to also other people who are not commercial users to also key into the CNG.
This shift for many other CNG users represents a significant step towards sustainable transportation in the face of rising petrol prices and environmental challenges.
It's really nice, and in the aspect of the economy now, we that use it for business, we enjoy it better than fuel. Sometimes if we use it for it's like we are using our own blood to drive. So we feel like this CNG of a thing is just a breakthrough for us.
I've been using CNG for over a month now. Okay. Yes.
And what has the experience been like?
Yeah, so far so good. It has been good. It has been awesome. But the only challenges we still have is the fact that the cost of conversion is still expensive.
Laudable as the CNG initiative is, the major challenge, motorists say, is sparsity of CNG filling stations.
We have to take a journey from town to airport road to come and buy gas, which is wrong. So if the government can give us where we can be buying the gas in the city center, everywhere, the filling station, we can be refilling, it will make life easier.
Key players believe that as the number of motorists using CNG increases, demand for CNG will also increase and attract more investment in the CNG add-on stations. Already, more CNG stations are springing up just as demand is growing. Can you believe it is no longer the driving and out CNG top-up as queues are building up as CNG users increase? This is attributed to the fact that only 2 CNG stations are continuously dispensing CNG in the FCT. However, our investigation indicates that hope is in the horizon as NNPC Limited final touches on CNG add-on stations will provide more alternative relevant filling stations. By actively participating in the CNG story going forward, I'll be using my CNG experience to illustrate the CNG revolution going forward. After all, they say experience is the best teacher. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, Nta News.
Of course, Lydia, enjoy your ride, and this is to hope that more Nigerians will follow suit. Now, moving to health matters now, Nigeria's health sector is to receive $4.8 billion investment to rejig the system for better service delivery. Vivian Izidefi has more in Business Package.
Nigeria's health sector received a significant boost investment of $4.8 billion. Vice President Kashim Shettima described this as a landmark investment that will revolutionize the country's healthcare landscape, addressing critical infrastructure and service delivery gaps. The Vice President revealed that the investment will be channeled into various aspects of the health sector, including healthcare infrastructure development, equipment modernization, and human capacity building. He said this move is equally expected to improve the quality of healthcare services, reduce medical tourism, and enhance the well-being of Nigerians. The investment is a testament to the government's commitment to revitalizing the health sector and improving the lives of Nigerians. With this significant funding, Nigeria's healthcare system is poised for a transformative change and better healthcare outcomes that will reduce mortality rates and a healthier population. With business, Vivian Ezadifi.
Many thanks, Vivian. Now, federal government is set for a synchronization of vaccination campaign with all countries sharing borders with Nigeria to strengthen effort on disease surveillance and prevention. Coordinated Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Ali Pati, dropped the hint at the quarterly review meeting of the Northern Traditional Leaders Committee on Primary Health Care Delivery, presided over by His Eminence Sultan of Sokoto, Mohammed Saad Abubakar. Olusheye Adiabo reports.
These custodians of the people's culture have for decades been participating in national efforts to resolve Nigeria's public health challenges. With continued outbreak of diseases in the country and Nigeria's latest scheme of synchronizing its vaccination campaign with its neighboring nations, the Northern Traditional Leaders Committee (NTLC), a group of paramount rulers in northern Nigeria, are here getting acquainted with what is expected of them.
I think there's good information that there are many viruses that when we don't control them, we can export them, and we don't want to be in that position. I would like to use this opportunity to seek the collaboration of all your highnesses that are on the borders with Niger and with Chad to start planning for a campaign later in October so that we have the best possible campaign, because we have an effective tool, but vaccines only are useful if they result in vaccination.
We still need your help to reach the chronically missed children in insecure places. We need to reach them with not just polio vaccines, but all the other routine vaccines, health and nutrition services.
The first is helping make sure we have the right vaccination teams. We need people who are diligent, who are trusted by the community. And many of you have done a great job making sure we pick the right people.
While development partners applaud Nigerian government's efforts on vaccination, leadership of the NTLC has pledged continued support of members to all government policies and programs for citizens' well-being.
And urge you to continue to double your efforts. There are more challenges, but we know and we have no doubt within our minds and hearts we are ready to work for our people, for this country, and for humanity.
Nigeria might have achieved the wide polio-free status, sustaining the record and meeting the target of ending circulating variants of the virus is also central in the discourse at this primary healthcare review meeting. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, Nta News.
We'll take another break here. Stay with us. Still watching the news at 10 on Nta News 24. Now, Edo State has recorded 25 suspected cases of cholera, 11 of mpox, 20 of diphtheria, while 2,300 suspected cases of Lassa fever has also been recorded. This was disclosed by the Director of Public Health, Minister of Health, Edo State, Dr. Stephenson Ojifo, this Wednesday while briefing the media on the state preparedness to contain any outbreak of the disease. Onoli Okoli reports.
Thursday, 22nd August 2024, there was a red alert on the cholera outbreak in Edo State. 16 of them were said to have been admitted at the UBTH. To put the record straight, as a reason for the media briefing at the Edo State Integrated Public Health Emergency Operations Center, Benin. Dr. Stevenson Ojefo is the Director of Public Health, Ministry of Health, Edo State.
Total in Edo State, we have recorded 25 suspected cases of cholera. From these 25, we recorded 13 that are reactive to the rapid diagnosis test. All the patients in UBTA except 2 has all been discharged home.
Diphtheria, 7 cases were positive and 2 deaths recorded due to late presentation. Out of 2,300 suspected cases of Lassa fever, 226 were confirmed positive and 36 deaths recorded so far in the state.
If you see anybody that have rash, irrespective of the rash, what you suspect the rash is, the patient should present him or herself to the hospital.
He advised mothers and caregivers to ensure that their children and wards are given complete dose of the vaccines against the diseases, adding that the state government is committed to adequate health care of its citizens. In Benin, Anwulu Kolo, Nta News.
The United Nations Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed has expressed confidence in the federal government's ability to address insecurity in farming communities in the country. Amina Mohammed was speaking during a visit to the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security in Abuja. Musa Baba Aliyu reports.
The visit of Amina Mohammed, the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations to the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, is to discuss the existing partnership between Nigeria and UN agencies in the areas of food production and poverty eradication. Her host, Abubakar Kyari and Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, speak on the impact of the UN intervention on the Nigerian food security strategy. This includes IFAD intervention in the food value chain, FAO, and the World Food Programme initiatives in the areas of cultivation and fighting hunger and malnutrition.
We must rise to the occasion and invest massively in agriculture, leveraging the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs.
So far designed for a different era.
Amina Mohammed, visiting Sudan and Chad before coming to Nigeria, was worried about the effects of climate change and insecurity on food production in Africa. She emphasized the need for the adoption of new technology and innovation in the area of cultivation and processing, considering the impact of climate change.
We're looking at those that are affected most, and food security is it, smallholder farmers that have been displaced. What we are doing from the UN is to help that planning so that we can continue to support the displacement while we're trying to solve in the same manner the security issues in the country.
Amina Mohammed said the UN will announce more commitment and support for Africa at the end of the Agriculture Summit ongoing in Kigali, Rwanda. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Appeal Justice Monica Domgwan-Mensem is advocating that all pre-election matters be resolved before inauguration of elected officials in future elections. This is one of the submissions at the interactive session between the National Assembly's Joint Committee on Electoral Matters and the Judiciary for the amendment of the 2022 Electoral Act. John Yaku has details.
Justice Monica Domgwan-Mensem, represented by retired Justice Peter Olabisige, submitted that Section 246, subsection 3 should be altered to reflect the finality of the decision of the Court of Appeal, including pre-election matters from national and state assemblies.
You discover that in pre-election matters, you take somebody to court. That person had already won in the election tribunal while the pre-election matter is going on side by side. You now find out that election petition tribunal said the person you are challenging is actually the winner of the election and is the one nominated to be the candidate of that political party. They now proceeded. Appeal now comes to the Court of Appeal. Say the Court of Appeal decides today that the judgment of the tribunal is affirmed That is, that same candidate whose nomination is being impugned actually won the nomination at the primary election. You now go to Supreme Court, and you now find that it is now said, well, that person who has been affirmed by the tribunal is actually not the winner. Take the certificate and give to this.
It is the only governorship election that has 2 levels of appeal. It starts from the tribunal, comes to the Court of Appeal, and then goes to the Supreme Court. Whilst the others actually start from the tribunal, some of them all of them end up at the Court of Appeal. And meanwhile, even the presidential election starts at the Court of Appeal, which is the trial court, and ends at the Supreme Court. So it's only the governorship election that has that 2 levels of appeal, and we feel this is grossly anomalous.
Other stakeholders are also in agreement with submissions at the session.
The court becoming another INEC, if not the alternative INEC in mostly cases that are taken to court.
We need to engage our governors. We all know that amending the constitution will require a lot of things. We know what they have done on the issue of local government autonomy until the Supreme Court came up with this judgment.
Once everybody feel involved in the process, then abiding by the final product will no longer be difficult.
The committee promises more of such consultations across the country to arrive at a credible electoral system in Nigeria. In Abuja, John Yaku, Nta News.
Now, concerned by the hardship being faced by retirees in accessing their entitlements, House of Representatives Committee on Pension is engaging pension administrators and other critical stakeholders to find a workable solution to the issue. National Assembly correspondent Isa Mohammed has details.
Appearing before the committee are pension fund administrators and other relevant stakeholders with a bid to understand their role, trust, and funding of the scheme for a better life of retirees.
There's supposed to be increment in pension payment to pensioners. What have you done to keep behind this policy? Or have you started implementing it? Or what are your plans towards implementing it? Since our inception, we have paid about 286,000 retirees benefits along the entire spectrum of benefit payout.
It is the accrued right that is the problem. Because if you don't pay the accrued right, it makes it near impossible for you to be able to pay the person his lump sum benefit, and for him also to choose the methodology that he wants to adopt.
Chairman of the committee, Hussein Muhammad Jallo, assured Nigerians that the National Assembly will reshape the scheme to restore the confidence of retirees in the pension policy.
By the time this committee finishes its work and submits a report, I have no doubt in my mind the pension industry in Nigeria will be better, will be more better than we met it before. And that will lead us into the amendment of the Pension Reform Act 2014. That has been in place, 2014, that has been in place for over 10 years. This committee has already started the process of amendment of the Act. And this engagement we are doing with the PFS and PFs will give us an in-depth knowledge about the operations of the PFS and PFCs that will guide us into the amendment of the 2014 Act.
The public hearing continues with other stakeholders. From the National Assembly, Isa Muhammad, Nta News.
The federal government has approved the establishment of a youth house in Abuja, an innovative gathering place to address the needs of young individuals from diverse cultural and social backgrounds. Minister of State for Youth Development, Ayodele Oluwande, stated this at a media conference in Abuja. Olayinka Ojo reported that the event was also an opportunity to reel out other government youth programs.
Since available white-collar jobs cannot cater for the teeming youth population globally, with Nigeria inclusive, finding a working and monitoring solution is of essence. Hence, the plan to establish a youth house. The youth house, when established, will serve as a point of convergence for youths of diverse backgrounds and is expected to meet the consistent yearnings and aspirations of youths such as unemployment, jobs, and wealth creation.
Goals of the youth house would be to help the youth develop important life skills such as leadership, teamwork, cooperation, and communication.
The initiative is a strategy of decentralizing access to government's programs will not be limited to FCT alone. Youths will be exposed to skills that can be exported in the near future.
The youth greenhouse in all the local governments would be coordinated in partnership with all youth-related government agency and private sector.
In keeping to the pro-youth agenda of his government, President Bola Tinubu on August 27, 2024 gave approval for the establishment of a youth house in Abuja, an action that reaffirms his commitment to the welfare of Nigerian youths. Olainka Ojo, Nta News.
The distribution of fertilizer for the 2024 wet season farming has been launched in Kogi State as part of government's commitment to enhancing agricultural productivity. The launch took place at the Kogi State Agricultural Development Project Center in Lokoja. Here is Ajibola Christopher's report.
Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo, while inaugurating the fertilizer distribution for the wet season farming, promised to transform Kogi State's agricultural sector. He announced the federal government's donation of 24 trucks of fertilizer to the state to combat food insecurity and poverty. He specified that 50% of the fertilizer will be allocated to farmers in Basa and Ibaji local government areas, while the remaining 50% will be distributed to farmers in other local government areas across the state.
It won't be business as usual. The era of politicizing, politician hijacking and selling fertilizer is over. I will be intentional in tracking these bags of fertilizer to ensure they are in the right places, in the right quantity, and at the right time in the right hands of our dear farmers.
The Kogi State Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Security, Timothy Ojoma, explained that the fertilizer distribution initiative marks a major milestone in Kogi State's agricultural sector, playing a crucial role in tackling food insecurity and eradicating hunger.
Your Excellency has demonstrated your commitment to agricultural development in the state by embarking on the State Green Revolution program that has engaged over 8,000 farmers in the state, supporting them with free tractorization, inputs, assorted fertilizers and chemicals. Your Excellency, we say thank you. Let us work together to make Kogi State the food basket of Nigeria.
Governor Dodo had launched the wet season farming initiative in Ajaokuta local government area.
Living up to its bidding of being a major fish hub that caters for the protein need of the FCT and environs, the popular Kado fish market has caught the attention of the FCT administration as the Capital Territory government plans to remodel the market to international standard. Abdullahi Ajia reports.
On a daily basis, this popular Kado fish market bubbles with huge transactions that contributes to the GDP of the FCT and the country since its establishment in the late 90s.
With the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President, he's poised to talking to the people. And that's why we have come, to talk to the people, to carry the people along. So they'll be in the process of of the redevelopment plan, you know, as it were. So it's a different ballgame. You can see they're happy about it.
Now, the Federal Capital Territory Administration has more prospects for the market with a plan to grow its viability while also taking care of the environmental concerns being generated from the fish business. This visit to the market by the GMD, Abuja Investment Company Limited, was for confidence building for a win-win partnership that will protect the business interest of the traders and government's desire for a befitting facility in the nation's capital.
Knowing the sensitive, important nature of this kind of market, it was good to come to see things for myself. And of course, because we're planning redevelopment of the market, there is a need to interface with the stakeholders, which is the Market Association and the market people indeed. Everything fishing in Abuja starts here and ends here, from seedlings to up to drying, which we have seen a lot of cold rooms. So it creates jobs for a lot of people. So our duty is to partner with them, discuss with them, collaborate with them, and see how we could remodel the facilities, because at the same time, it causes health hazard.
We go back and look at the prawns and see how we can partner with them. It's a good one. We will look at it and we'll move from.
This conversation is expected to yield results in an amicable way to resolve all grey areas, including out-of-court settlement for an ongoing litigation. In Abuja, Abdullah Hajia, NTA News.
The Minister of State for Health, Dr. Tunji Alausa, has emphasized that personal data and privacy of Nigerians, especially patients in hospitals, should remain classified except on request. He disclosed this at a training for health record practitioners by the Health Records Officers Registration Board of Nigeria in collaboration with the Nigerian Data Protection Commission in Abuja. Thomas Ogweteri reports.
The health sector, considered as one of the most sensitive, must not be handled with levity. Therefore, keeping good records of citizens in accordance with the Nigerian Data Protection Act of 2023 becomes expedient. A health record practitioner, Patricia Phillips Mshila, remarked that digital literacy is necessary to enhance professionalism in the health sector.
This training will enhance our capacity on data protection.
The Minister of State for Health, represented by the Senior Technical Assistant Obiajilu Ugbo, says the ministry is ready to work with relevant agencies to uphold the trust of those who they are meant to serve.
As we embrace digital health solutions, we must prioritize the trust and the confidentiality of patient data.
The Registrar and the CEO of the Health Record Officers Registration Board of Nigeria, Babagana Mustafa, and the National Commissioner of the Nigeria Data Protection Commission, Vincent Olatuji, said the collaboration is geared towards promoting personal data privacy and protection in the health sector.
Awareness program on data privacy and protection is up and very essential to all health professionals, most especially health record and information management practitioners.
The kind of personal information they collect here is sensitive, that requires additional safeguards to ensure that the data of data subjects is not used in any malicious manner.
While medical records officers are responsible for obtaining information from various healthcare professionals, the NDPC is a public institution that processes data in furtherance of public interests. In Abuja, Thomas Ogweteri, NTA News.
In the not-too-distant future, Nigerians will be praising President Bola Tinubu for putting in place policies that currently seem harsh but will ultimately yield the much-desired dividend for the country. A philanthropist, Queen Halimot Tojo, founder of the GAD Foundation, said this during her ongoing tour to schools across the country, where students were given scholarships and other essential items to facilitate the smooth running of their education. She expressed the belief that while things may be hard now, definitely there is relief on the horizon, and urged all those who have the means to do so to assist the less privileged in whatever capacity they can.
Like, that's my motivation. I love to put smile on the faces of people, especially the vulnerables. We should give him time, because President Tinubu met the country in a bad state. But the thing is that people in the rural area, people, the layman will not understand, because everything is, because he's the president, they expect him to do magic, or because he's the president, things should not be expensive. Do you understand? So they should be patient and watch. I'm very sure by the time he's approaching 2 years, Nigerians will clap for him.
We have some children that have already finished their primary school for a long period of time, but the fund is not there now to go to the school. You can see now that you have put smile into those children, and we can never forget her in our prayer.
We need her to keep it up, and God will continue to provide for her, bless her, give her long life and prosperity.
This is the news at 10 on Nta News 24. Here's the recap of our top stories. President Bola Tinubu and President Xi Jinping of China agree on increased trading partnership between both countries. Minister of State for Defense assures Nigerians of government's commitment to end banditry in Nigeria.
The president is worried about what is happening in the Northwest.
Federal government set to synchronize vaccination with neighboring countries to enhance disease prevention. NTA's energy correspondent shares experience with conversion from petrol to CNG-powered vehicle.
The presidential initiative on compressed natural gas interface with motorists who converted their vehicles. Now, as a reporter, I've become part of the story.
The body of late Hajia Fatima Musa Yar'Adua, mother of late President Umar Musa Yar'Adua, has been laid to rest in Katsina in accordance with Islamic injunction. Suleiman Kodogi reported that the federal government delegation, led by Vice President Senator Kashim Shettima and other political stalwarts, attended the funeral prayer performed by an Islamic scholar, Dr. Aminu Yamawa.
That was the funeral prayer for the late Hajia Fatima Musa Yar'Adua, mother of the late former President Umar Musa Yar'Adua, performed by an Islamic scholar, Dr. Aminu Yelmawa. Eminent personalities, including the federal government delegation led by the Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, and Katsina State Governor Diko Umar Rada, were among the sympathizers. Other dignitaries include the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and the presidential candidate of Labour Party in the 2023 general elections, Peter Obi, as well as National Assembly members. They prayed Almighty Allah to forgive the deceased her shortcomings and grant her soul eternal rest, as well as grant the bereaved family the fortitude to bear the loss.
We are here at the instance of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to commiserate with the governor, with the government, and the people of Katsina, and Nigeria as a whole, over the loss of the matriarch.
It's a demise that is quite obvious, considering her age. We are grateful to God for sparing her life up to this point in time.
Everything told about her was a great life. May Allah forgive her sins and grant her eternal rest.
For the deceased family members, late Hajia Fatima Musa Yar'Adua lived a fulfilled life, worthy of emulation.
In all her life, what she has been telling us, wherever you find yourself in life, fear God, help the needy ones, and concentrate on the teachings of Islam.
The only thing we can do is to pray, because there is nothing you can do when it says when somebody died. That is God willing. So the only thing is to say Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un.
The deceased died at the age of 102, left behind many children, including Senator Abdulaziz Yar'Adua and many grandchildren. Suleiman Kodogi, Nta News.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu commiserates with the government and the people of Yobe over the tragic loss of lives at Mafa in Tarmuwa local government area of the state. President Tinubu will also extend his condolences to bereaved families and condemns the killings as an atrocious and cowardly act of terror by a degraded group of criminals. The President prays for the repose of the souls of the deceased, speedy recovery for the wounded, and assures the people of Yobe State that the perpetrators of this sinister act will have an inevitable encounter with justice. And that's the news at this time. Many thanks for watching. I am Salwa Khalil Ibrahim.